Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining. Happy Ram Navami. We are celebrating Ram Navami today, and it's a wonderful opportunity for us to discuss the spiritual aspects of Ram Navami in our AVSC Nisargadatta group. Let's begin with a prayer. I will chant Guru Brahma, and then you can follow up with other prayers. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om
अंतर्ज्योति बहिर्ज्योति प्रत्यज्योति परात्परा ज्योतिरेव ज्योतिः स्वयं ज्योति आत्मज्योति शिवोऽस्म्यहम्।
नारायण समारंभा शंकराचार्य मध्यमाम् अस्मत् आचार्य पर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। सदाशिवा समारम्भात् शंकराचार्य मध्यमाम् अस्मत् आचार्य पर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्।
Okay, very nice. So we must have listened to Prabhuji's talk delivered on the occasion of Ram Navami of 2020. So based on that, we can start sharing what we have understood, the key points, and so that we can learn from what is the spiritual significance of Adhyatma Ramayana. Would you like to go first? Please.
Who's done? My pranams to Sri Prabhuji, to Vasudevi, and other Atma Jyotis. So it is a joy to talk today on the occasion of Sri Ram Navami. Sri Ram Navami is celebrated on the 9th day of the bright fortnight of the month Chaitra to mark the birth of Sri Ram. The number 9 is, it is something very special because it refers to eternity and it also indicates the eternity of Rama. Now, Rama was an incarnation of Lord Vishnu, the pure consciousness, and an avatar is when the Lord descends on earth in the human form as a result of the Samashti Vasanas. And there is a decline in Dharma, and in order to restore it, he takes this form. So, Rama took this form as a human being to bring happiness to the good and the well-being of his devotees, and for the transformation and even the elimination of evil as a last resort. For example, Ravana, who was bloated with ego and pride, and Vali, who was full of lust. Now, Rama is also referred to as Adarsh Purusha because he was an ideal son, an ideal disciple, ideal wife, husband, and then above all, an ideal administrator and king. He was a symbol of, he was an embodiment of righteousness. And because of his characteristic behavior to everybody, this guides us, this is a guide for us to lead a life of good conduct in society. Then we come to this his other qualities like just he also even as in the Balakanda as a student of sage Vasishta, he demonstrated the firm foundation of our culture, that is reverence, respect, and obedience towards elders, and also truth and purity. And I feel this is the need of the hour for our youngsters to help them grow well in society. There are some incidents there are so many incidents quoted in Ramayana, but here I just want to tell about one or two. One was his state of equanimity all the time. Now, all preparations were on for his coronation, which was to take place the next day. And people were very happy about it. When the previous night, Rama was asked to meet his father. And then when he immediately went to to meet his father. And when he entered the chamber, he saw Kaikeyi totally upset with disheveled hair and face fully with full anger on her face. And King Dashratha, who is supposed to have controlled the 10 senses, he was totally shattered and heartbroken. And he told his son that tomorrow you will not be coronated, you will not be crowned as the king of Ayodhya, but instead you will have to go to the forest. You will have to leave this palace, leave Ayodhya, and be in exile for 14 years. This statement did not have any adverse reaction on Rama. On the contrary, he said he expressed his willingness to obey his father immediately. And his calm, smiling face was the same before meeting his father and after meeting his father. So this shows his sense of equanimity. And another one, then Sri Rama, Sita, and Lakshmana, they leave Ayodhya and they have to cross the river Ganges. And Guha is taking them, he's ferrying them. So when they reach the other bank, Rama wants to pay Guha for ferrying them. So Guha says, Navi se na navi leve, dhobi se na dhobi. That means he says that people in the same profession should not take money from each other. He says we both are in the same profession. I am ferrying people across this Ganga river, and you are guiding and ferrying people across this Bhavasagar, across this Samsara Sagar. So this shows that he was the omnipresent God, self or Brahman. And worship of Rama is the worship of the Virat Purusha, the all-pervading God. Rama is Atma and Atma is Rama. Hence we say Atma Rama. Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai. Thank you.
So wonderful. The two incidents from his life, one of the coronation ceremony and how he was equanimous even under such a testing and trying circumstance. And also the second one of the ferrying, that he's the one, the even the sailor understands the importance or the mahima of Sri Rama, and he considers Sri Rama as the supreme who is guiding people to cross the ocean of samsara bhavasagar. Wonderful, wonderful anecdotes. Very nice. Thank you so much for sharing, Ganeshan ji.
Yeah. Namaste to everybody. After hearing Prabhuji's lecture on the Ramnavami day, we could gather some more aspects of Rama which we are not normally knowing. Essentially, he brought out the 3 points, that is Adi Bhautika, Adi Devika, and Adhyatmika. This was quite interesting. So all the 3 phases of Rama's life are portrayed nicely, and at this juncture we will give more importance to the Adhyatmic level of Ramayana, and other things of course were quite interesting when we were children, especially this story of Rama. It was quite impressive, and we were a little bit molded psychologically right from our childhood to listen to the Ramayana. But with the advanced age stepping in, we are more into Adhyatmic level. So with this, I would like to say, Ramnavami celebrates the birth of the 7th incarnation of Lord Vishnu, and Ramrajya has become synonymous with a period of peace and prosperity. Rama represents a cure of the soul, and Sita means the earth, the embodied self, or the individual self. Ayodhya means the city where no conflicts can happen. Lakshman represents awareness within us. Ravana has 10 faces because ego has different ways to distract us. Lanka, a land of materialism, bridges being made up of stones on which name of Rama is written when Rama wanted to cross the ocean to reach Lanka. That signifies when divine power is taken, we can be saved from drowning in the ocean of problems. The whole story of Ramayana revolves around the reunion of our mind to our own pure self. We are embedded in the ocean of Maya, due to which the connection between our mind and the inner self is broken. The true name of the Lord will help us to save us from drowning into the ocean of Maya. Then I just got some meaning for Rama. Rama means light, Ma means inside. So,
Ra means
Ra means to shine, and Ma means with me. So the light is within me, and we have to recognize that light is within me. Or Atma Jyoti is myself, and that is the whole significance of this Rama. And also they pen this word Taraka Rama, and I happen to see the meaning of Taraka. That is the ultimate Brahmanhood, Brahmasthiti. So the chanting of Rama takes us easily to reach that Brahmic stage. Thank you. Namaste.
So nice, Ganeshan ji, for the lovely sharing and the beautiful meaning of Rama split. Rama is light within us, with me. Ra is light, and Ma is within me, with me. So also, Rama belongs to Surya Vamsha. So like the shining sunlight. So, but that is external. Inside, he is the shining, blazing light of the self. So he belongs to that category of the lineage of light. So that is also. So that is wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. I think it is wonderful. I also went through the talk, and I just picked up a few points, and I would like to share it with all of you. So as everybody has said, there are 3 popular texts in Ramayana. One is Valmiki Ramayana that discusses the life of Rama in the physical plane, written by the great sage Valmiki. Then there is Yoga Vashishta, which is the teaching of the great sage Vashishta to the young boy Rama on self-realization. And the third one is Adhyatma Ramayana, which Prabhuji has outlined, and then that gives us the spiritual significance of the story of Rama and how the story of Rama relates to our own story. Incidentally, I was just looking up for some more details on Adhyatma Ramayana. It was written later by none other than the great sage Vedavyasa. And it is a part of Brahmananda Purana. And nearly 30 to 35% of Brahmananda Purana is Adhyatma Ramayana. Like Bhagavad Gita is a part of Mahabharata, Adhyatma Ramayana is a part of significant part of Brahmananda Purana, authored by Vedavyasa. Now, as we all know, I think spiritually, if we focus on the other side, even while living in the plane, on the religious side, Rama is supposed to be an embodiment of Dharma. He is a golden standard of Dharma. So if we have Rama as an inspiration, then we will be guided in our daily life within the framework of Dharma. We cannot step out of Dharma if we are inspired by Rama. And that is very important, because being religious is not just about praying, but also living our daily life according to the framework of Dharma. There are two things that are eternal, is what Prabhuji has talked about in the teaching of Adhyatma Ramayana. One is Dharma, because there is no beginning or end of Dharma, because Dharma is a universal order. There is order in the universe. And in spite of all the change, there is an underlying order in the universe. So that is Dharma. And without Dharma, the universe is not sustained. It is eternally holding the universe in order in spite of chaos and change. And the other eternal principle is Atma. So Atma is the spiritual internal principle that is there for realization. For living, the eternal principle is Dharma, the framework of Dharma. And Dharma simply means, in layman's terms, the universal order in spite of all the changes, all the chaos that seems to be happening externally in the universe. The planets are kept in the orbit, the seasons are happening, rain comes, then the plants grow, we get fruits, and the grains grow, harvesting happens. There seems to be an order, a supreme order in play behind all the changes. That is Dharma. And if we follow Dharma, we will be in tune with nature. That is the teaching. Now, from the spiritual perspective, as both of you have also outlined, Rama is the self, and Rama is also Ananda, or supreme bliss. So Atma Rama is what I think you have clearly said. And Rama is also the supreme bliss, Ananda. Atma Rama, Ananda Ramana. Ramana is the one who enjoys, or the one who is enjoyable, or who is reveling in us. Okay, who is reveling in us. So spiritually, Rama is Atma on one side and Ananda on the other side. We can't say two sides of the same coin. He is the self, which is infinity, and he is also the bliss who revels in us within our own hearts. So that is Atma Rama. And the significance, the story of Rama going to Vanavasa and coming back to Ayodhya represents our own life. Rama goes to the forest in obeying his father, the words given to his father, on the command of his father. And so the self is going to the forest, and forest is a synonym for samsara. Just like the trees in the forest are thick. And what is samsara? Samsara is full of thoughts. So, like there are innumerable trees in the forest, our mind is occupied with innumerable thoughts. And it's a thought that puts us in bondage. So forest is the samsara. And Rama marries Sita during the Vanavasa, isn't it? No, sorry, not during. He marries Sita while he was protecting in the yajna, okay, in the forest. So the mind, Sita represents the mind. Sita represents the mind. Rama represents the self, and so the self is marrying the mind. The self is coming together with the mind, and then where does that take place? In samsara. So the mind is in samsara, and then afterwards, Sita gets attracted to the golden deer or the Maya Mruga. So instead of Sita staying with Rama, the mind staying with the self, the mind goes outward and then gets attracted to an attraction of the world, which is Maya, the deer. And that is where the first separation happens, and that is the when the mind goes outward and gets attracted, it gets separated from the self. Otherwise, mind and the self are the same. When mind is with the self, it is only the self. When mind is silent, it is the self only. But when it gets attracted, it gets separated from the self and becomes a jiva. And the jiva is kidnapped. When the jiva gets attracted to the sense organs and the sense pleasures, it gets kidnapped by Ravana, which is the lust, which is desires and ego, and attractions to the sense organs. So the ego kidnaps the mind, takes it away from the self, giving the feeling that ego is the boss, whereas actually the self is the real boss. And then where does it go? Where does it take the mind? To Lanka. And Lanka is a symbol of supreme materialism. So the mind gets attracted to the objects of the world. But look at the wonderful thing. In spite of Sita being in Lanka, when she is separated, she is in constant meditation or contemplation of Rama. She is always constantly thinking of Rama, chanting his name. That is why she is supposed to have been kept in Ashokavana. So, amidst the strong sense of attraction in Sri Lanka, which is full of glitter, glamour, and golden material, she is thinking of Rama, and she is in Ashokavana. The term Ashoka means without worry, no shoka, ashoka. So when the mind is meditating on the self, even if we are in the world, we are without sorrows, without shoka. That is the significance outlined in the teaching. And then, but still the problem is not solved. Rama has to come and rescue Sita. So what does Rama do to rescue Sita? First, he takes the help of Sugriva to defeat Vali. Vali represents lust, and Sugriva represents sense control. So the self, through the self-control, defeats lust. That is the teaching there. And then he uses Vanara Sainya, which is the army of monkeys, which represents the power of the mind, and Hanuman, who is the Vayuputra, which is the prana, to defeat Ravana, who is the ego. That means the self uses the instruments that we have, which is prana, indicated by Hanuman, and the power of mind, Vanara Sainya, and Sugriva, control over the senses. Shama Dama is come. Titiksha is also come here in Tattva Bodha to go and vanquish the ego, Ravana. And then Sita then unites with Rama and goes back to Ayodhya. So the returning of Sita to Rama is mind returning to the self after the ego has been vanquished. How? Using the power of control over the senses and using the power of control of the mind, use in Shama and Dama has come there. All right, that way, and then returning to Ayodhya. Ayodhya, the term Ayodhya means Yuddha means war. Yuddha also means conflict. Ayodhya means without conflict, a place which is without conflict. What is the place without conflict? Advaita. When Sita unites with Rama and only Rama is there. When the mind merges in the self and only the self is there. That is why Ayodhya, another name like Ganeshanji you pointed out, is peace and prosperity. So when only the self is there, there cannot be conflict. When there is no conflict, that is Ananda only. And peace and prosperity reigns even in the physical.
Picture is frozen. Hello? Hello, are you able to hear?
I'm able to hear. I lost the connection. Sorry.
Okay.
So, okay, yes. So I was saying this is a two-way journey. The first journey is going from Ayodhya and getting and kidnapped from the self by the getting detached. And then the return journey is the self itself coming to the rescue of the mind. How? By inspiring to control the senses and to control the mind, and rescuing the mind and taking the mind back with it to a place where, to Ayodhya, which is without conflict and to its own self, its own nature, Advaita Sthiti. So this represents our descent on one side. That means a drop when we get attracted to the world, and then rising or evolution to realizing our own self. This is what I just took from Prabhuji's talk on the spiritual significance of Adhyatma Ramayana.
Beautiful summary.
Anything you want to add?
No, beautiful summary, sir. Very nice.
Okay.
Yeah. Especially the last
Thank
part,
you.
no?
Thank you.
Excellent.
You mean all these are all listed in that Adhyatma Ramayana?
Yeah.
This type of
So that.
what I mean is,
Ganeshanji, your question.
Yeah.
What was your question?
I wanted to ask you whether all these are enlisted in the Adhyatma Ramayana, what you are referring to.
Adhyatma Ramayana is a full text. I haven't read it, to be frank. I just looked up and there is a text called Adhyatma Ramayana, which is a part of Brahmananda Purana, Vedavyasa. Okay. So I think we should be having English translations or local language versions may be available. If
So
we,
whatever metaphors or similes we have drawn, they are from that.
There's more from Prabhuji's talk.
it is there from Prabhuji's talk, and I'm sure.
He would have taken it.
Freeze होता है.
Yeah.
Freezing, we are getting closer.
My source is only Prabhuji's talk and his teaching. His other talks other classes that he gives, and full of references that I do on internet and this thing. But this talk on Ram Navami and other talks, I just stitch them together. That's all.
No, very, very nice.
Nice. Good. You have
Especially the two-way journey.
Okay.
not only that, you have brought in all this
Two-way
Tattva
journey.
Tattva-bodha, you have nicely woven.
Two-way journey, Prabhuji has told very clearly. He has told.
Not yours. Okay. Fine.
Not mine. No, two-way journey, Prabhuji has told in his talk. In his talk only. The descent of the mind. That means the first separation
Yes. Yeah. Yes, don't know.
goes out to the deer and it becomes a jiva. Jiva means that entity which is identified. That means it has got separated out from the self. Till then, the mind, till then, the mind is the self only.
No, all the while, mind, what I mean, it is not a particular mind of Sita, a particular mind. I think it's a mind in general, I am right.
No. Don't take it as it is, not mind of Sita. Sita represents the mind, Rama represents the self.
Okay.
Represents the ego, 10-headed ego in us.
Okay.
The self in us is Rama. The sense control is Sugriva. The lust is Vali in us, not anywhere outside.
Okay.
Lanka is the attraction to the material. Okay. And if we sit in meditation thinking of the Lord, though we are in the world, we will be in Ashoka Vana. Disturbed when we are in meditation.
Yeah. So it is our practical experience also. See, when you just establish yourself in within, then you realize that you are very peaceful.
Nothing disturbs you.
Yeah.
Nothing disturbs you. Correct.
Once you are away, all the problems start.
Yeah. When are you most peaceful? When are you most peaceful? When you are in Ayodhya, when no thoughts are there. When no thoughts are there, what state?
No conflicts.
Only the Advaita.
Only one.
Advaita only. There is no other. There is no thought to say there is world and me also. There is only the self. This is why when in the talk Prabhuji has said, no, when somebody asked Hanuman what is it with Rama, then Hanuman gives 3 wonderful answers. When I open my eyes, I see you, you are my Lord, and I am your servant. Lord, devotee and Lord relationship. I serve you. I see you physically. I can see your figure, the crown on the head. But you are my Lord. You are my master. And I am your servant or devotee. That is first relationship. And close my eyes. I am your friend. You are my friend. You are my relative. We are close. I have an intimate relationship with you. But you and I exist. That means you are there, I am there. But when I am in Samadhi,
only Rama.
then Only Rama is there. There is nobody to say. Completely the jiva has merged with the self.
Servant, relative, or
So that's the three types of relationship. Huh? Yes.
The distance becomes less,
Three
and
types
finally
of
it is
relationship that we can relate to our Ishtadevata or any can relate to any of our Ishtadevata or deity or anything at the as a Lord and devotee, Lord and Bhakta, supreme, or as an intimate relationship, or only completely merged with him in supreme devotion, which is in Samadhi. Okay. So, that you would like any other points from the talk that I missed out? Is there anything that missed out? You would like to add anything?
no,
you have covered everything.
Okay.
nothing is left. Yeah.
Okay. So, Prabhuji has actually given a meditation at the end. Shall we do it? It is just about 5 or 6 minutes. It's there at the talk
Yeah.
itself. Okay, I'll share the talk, and I have paused it. That's why I was taking time in the beginning to just see if you are able to. Are you able to see the screen that I'm
Yeah.
sharing?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'm so towards the end, Prabhuji has given a meditation. So let us mute our microphones and sit in a comfortable position. This is about 6 minutes only, a short meditation. Prabhuji is taking us through the meditation of the principles of Adhyatma Ramayana, the self, the mind, the attraction, the lust, and then the merger again, all of that. So shall we do that? Okay.
Yeah,
I request you to mute. I will also mute. I won't be talking. We will listen to this. You can close your eyes and listen to it, or you can follow what Prabhuji is saying looking at the video.
Meditating on this occasion. Close your eyes. Visualize the divine light, Atma Jyoti, light of the self. Rama is the self. Rama is the Atma. The light of the self, Atma Jyoti, entering into the top of the head. Filling our body with the divine light, light of the self. May the divine light flow from head to toe, filling up every aspect of our life with dharma, with righteousness, purifying every cell of our body, purifying our mind, bringing peace in our life, removing ignorance of the self, the divine light flowing into the head, into the face, into the neck, into the chest, into the hands, into the legs, filling up every cell of our body, purifying us, healing us, bringing peace in our life. May Sri Ramachandra, the divine incarnation of Vishnu, bless us with Atmadnana, knowledge of the self. May all of us realize Atma Rama, Rama in our heart, Rama as our self. May all of our activities in day-to-day life be dharmic. May Sri Ramachandra bless us, bless all our countrymen. Sit silently and enjoy the peace and silence and bliss. May Dharma be established fully in this great country of Bharat. May all living beings be happy, be peaceful when Dharma is established in this country. On this occasion of Ramanavami, let us resolve to work towards self-realization, to discover Atma Rama, and to bring Dharma in all our activities. I'll chant Asato Ma Sadgamaya. Can repeat after me. Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Lokaha Samastaha
Lokaha Samastaha
Sukhino Bhavantu.
Sukhino Bhavantu.
Lokaha Samastaha
Lokaha Samastaha
Sukhino Bhavantu.
Sukhino Bhavantu.
Lokaha Samastaha
Lokaha Samastaha
Sukhino Bhavantu.
Sukhino Bhavantu.
Thank you for joining this Ramanavami Satsang. May Sadguru bless us all.